Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you to our page again, Business Development. We want to introduce to you a new model which is titled Public-Private Partnership, and we're looking at the first lecture. We have as objectives to get trainees acquainted with the nature of public-private partnership, to enable trainees understand the value of public-private partnerships, to enable trainees comprehend the role played by the government in business, to enable trainees know how to engage the government and significant stakeholders in the support of business initiative. So our focus in this lesson is to introduce to you public-private partnership, the role played by the government in business, the reasons for government participation in business, the purpose of B3 and its benefits. Now we begin with the role of the government in business. We have as rules participatory, which is direct ownership in business enterprises, direct ownership of majority in equity interest, state investment. We have regulatory rule, which is based on custom, exercises labor and employment of women into the business. We also have restriction of business practices like quality of goods, weight and measurement. We have registration of businesses. Reasons for government participation in business. We have natural monopoly, regulation of natural resources, destructive competition, sources of income, employment generation, quality of life demands, protection of individual rights, and then we have conservation of resources. Looking at the introduction to public-private partnership, we say it is a contractual agreement formed between public and private sector partners, which allows more private sector participation than is traditional. A public-private partnership exists when public sector's agencies join with private sector entities and enter into a business relationship to attain a commonly shared goal that also achieves objectives of the individual partners. Typical uses: we have contracting with a private company to renovate, construct, operate, maintain, and manage a facility or system. History goes back to the earliest construction in the United States, used extensively in Europe and other countries. We mean this method of public-private partnership. We are mentioning the history where it has been used formally, and we saw that in earliest construction it was done in the USA. It was used extensively in Europe and other countries. Its significant renewed interest in the 1980s. In 1991, Federal Highway Administration legislation, Intermodal Surface Transportation Efficiency Act. Then in 2005, September 15, we have Safe, Accountable, Flexible, Efficient Transportation Equity Act, a legacy for users. Public tender with tenders bought in Cameroon at local, regional and national levels. These fall within the framework of what is known in Cameroon as public contracts. Also includes various MOUs signed between government agencies and private entities. Why P3? Traditional funding sources are not keeping special space with infrastructure investment needs and the growing public demand for services. In short, P3 or PPP is a tool that can help governments meet demands for the development of modern and efficient facility, infrastructure, and services while providing value for taxpayers' benefit. Expanded, 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 accelerated project completion, project cost savings, project management, improved quality use of private resources, access to new sources of private capital. Four basic dimensions of PPP. Although each is unique, all P3s include four basic characteristics. Shared goals, shared resources, shared risks, shared benefits. Typical funding and sources. We have tools, tax increments, finance, fees, grants, loans, bonds, other revenue streams. To summarize all we've said, a public-private partnership is a contractual agreement formed between public and private sector partners which allow more private sector participation than is traditional. We already saw that. And a P3 exists when public sector agencies join with private sector entities, foundations, academic institutions, or citizens and enter into a business relationship to attain a commonly shared goal that also achieves many. A man is poor today, although he has worked like a slave simply because he could not save. Orison Swett Madden quotes.